Hello students, welcome to another lecture of pharmaceutical jurisprudence, and in today's lecture we will be starting with a new topic, that is Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985 and its rules, right? So let's start. Now, with the discovery of new drugs and new formulations, there has been an appreciable change in our understanding towards the treatment of diseases and towards the use of drugs, right? The technological developments, on the other hand, they have been misused for the production of narcotic substances and psychotropic substances, and they have been misused in the modification of narcotic drugs, which are presently being misused by a large number of population. Now, keeping all these activities of misuse in mind, a new act was implemented to control the use, manufacture and distribution of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, and therefore in 1985 this particular act was implemented. Now coming to the objective of this particular act. So this act basically is formed to consolidate and to amend the law relating to the narcotic drugs and to make a more strict provision for the control and the regulation of operations, meaning the manufacture, sales, distribution relating to narcotic and psychotropic substances, right? Because we know that these drugs are habit forming drugs, and apart from medicinal use, people take these drugs for their pleasure as well, right? So therefore this particular act was implemented, and this act extends to the whole of India. Now in this act there are certain definitions which you need to know. You'll read these terms in the coming lectures, so you should know the definition of certain terms. For example, addict. Addict means a person who has developed the dependence on any psychotropic substances or narcotic drugs. Then board in respect to this particular act means the Central Board of Excise and Custom, which is constituted under the Central Board of Revenue Act 1963. Cannabis. Now cannabis has three different definitions under this act. So cannabis is also termed as hemp, and it means charas, that is the separated resin in whatever form. It can be powdered form or solid form, right? Whether crude or purified, obtained from a cannabis plant, right? Then the second part is your ganja. So ganja is a flowering or fruiting top of cannabis plant. And the third is your any mixture with or without any neutral material of any of the above forms of cannabis, or any drink which is prepared with these substances. Then comes your cannabis plant. Cannabis plant means a plant of the genus Cannabis. Cocoa derivative means crude cocoa, that is any extract of cocoa leaf which can be used directly or indirectly. It means ecogoin and all the derivatives of ecogoin from which it can be recovered or extracted, and cocaine. Coming to cocoa leaf, so cocoa leaf means the leaf of cocoa plant except a leaf from which all the chemical constituents have been removed, and it also means any mixture with or without any neutral material, but does not include any preparation containing not more than 0.1% of your cocaine. Now coming to the opium derivatives. Opium derivatives means opium which is used for the medicinal purpose, right? Prepared opium, that is any product of the opium which is obtained by series of operations, basically extraction, right? Then it also means phenanthrene alkaloids. It also means diacetyl morphine, that is the alkaloids which are also known as dimorphine or heroin and its salt, and all the preparations containing more than 0.2% of morphine or any other chemical constant can be termed as opium derivatives. Coming to the authorities and officers, so central government has a lot of responsibilities. The first responsibility is the coordination of action by various officers, state government and other authorities. The second function is the assistance to the concerned authority in foreign countries and concerned international organization with a view to facilitate the coordination. And the third function is the identification, treatment, education, aftercare, rehabilitation, and social reintegration of the addicts, the people who are addicted to narcotic substance. Now, coming to the officers of the central government. So, the government shall appoint a narcotic commissioner and any such officers as it thinks fit for the purpose. The narcotic commissioner shall exercise all the powers relating to the superintendence of the cultivation of opium poppy. Right? He will supervise the cultivation of opium poppy basically. The narcotic commissioner can authorize any officer subordinate to him, and he can ask that particular person to do his duties on his behalf. Now, the next point is the Narcotic and Psychotropic Consultative Committee. So, this is mainly constituted by the central government to advise it on matters relating to the administration of this act. The committee shall consist of a chairman and other members, which should not exceed 20 in number, right? The committee is in part for the purpose of efficient discharge of any of its function to constitute one or more subcommittee. Now, the next is your National Fund for Controlling the Drug Abuse. So, the central government may constitute the National Fund for Controlling the Drug Abuse. The central government may constitute a governing body which further advises the government in regard to the application of the fund. The central government at the end of each financial year, publishes a report of all the activities which is done in that particular year, all the financial activities basically done in that year. Coming to the prohibition, control and regulation, certain acts are prohibited under this particular act. Right? For example, no person shall cultivate any cocoa plant or gather any portion of the cocoa plant. No person can cultivate the opium poppy or any cannabis plant. And no person can produce, manufacture, possess, sell, purchase, transport, warehouse, use, consume, or import interstate, export interstate, import into India, export from India, any narcotic or psychotic substances except that is being done for medicinal or scientific purpose. Now, when it comes to the cultivation of opium poppy, the central government may fix a time frame for the cultivation of opium poppy, frame regulations for the delivery of poppy from the cultivator, fixed price to be paid by the cultivator. The government will issue permit for the manufacture, possession, export, import for opium poppy, right? And the central government appoints an officer, designated officer for this purpose. So thank you so much, dear students. This was all in today's lecture. We studied about the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act and its rule in today's lecture. If you have any queries, any doubt in today's lecture, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for attending the lecture. Thank you.